Welcome back to the Green Means Go channel. It's your host, me. And yes, guys, I know. We did a little bit of an audible here in the bathroom with the grooming tools, okay? What do you think? All right, don't all rush to the comments right now and glaze the mustache, but I'm just telling you, I like it. I think it looks pretty rad, and we may rock it. It may be the new Green Means Go staple, the mustache. So let's talk about it, because it's the elephant in the room, and it's not the elephant, it's the underdog. Why? Why, when I think that I've made a good tier list with every team in the correct spot, the underdogs want to win every game and make me question everything? So here are some comments from the video last week. We have B. Chris saying, such a bad ranking. When are you guys going to learn? Give me some context. Give me some details. Why is it bad, Chris? Please help me out here. We have Dean saying, Andy Dalton is going to get the Panthers more wins than the Patriots. And Dean, my good sir, you are halfway right so far, right? Andy Dalton comes in, gets the Panthers a win. Patriots have one win. It's 1-1. We'll see how that plays out. And Bob Battle actually makes some really good points. Sunday night after the Browns lose, in the old video, he types up a nice report about how I have been wrong about the Browns, and I'm here to take my medicine, to swallow my pride, and to correctly place the Browns where they belong this week. Let's talk about the NFC West, which was supposed to be the 49ers division through and through at the beginning of the year. And it's not shaping up to be that at this point. We have the Cardinals, who lost a somewhat close game at home to the Lions. A team that I think is talented, a team that I think is doing the correct things. They have pieces in the right spot. They just didn't come out with a win, and they've kind of suffered some second half fall off this year. It's going to be tough for them to make a run, especially with the overall difficulty of this division. So they fall between and 6-11 for me. And I think it's too disrespectful to put them in 6-11 right now. I'm going to put them in but I'm going to recognize that they could be moving down. I think it's an uphill climb, but I'll give them a few more weeks. The Rams, the Rams, 7-point underdogs against the 49ers, come away with an outright victory with who? Who was catching the ball? Tutu Atwell and Demarcus Robinson? Absolutely unbelievable. Kyron Williams had 3 touchdowns. I think we have to acknowledge that this is a team that will continue to fight and could see a wild card spot out of the NFC. Same thing, really, for the San Francisco 49ers. I think this is a team that has just been very unlucky. It's looking like Christian McCaffrey's not going to touch grass all year. He is going to see a Achilles specialist in Germany? What? Why don't we have... Listen, guys, people want to talk about how great America is. We have it all. We don't even have an Achilles specialist here in the States. We got to go across the pond to Germany for an Achilles specialist? What are we talking about? We are far behind the world. Don't let the mainstream media lie to you. Sorry. It's hard. It's hard to say that this team is in the category. I'm not ready to sell it off right now. So we'll put them there. Seattle. My Seattle Seahawks are sitting at the top of the NFC West, which is something I have not said since the glory days of Legion of Boom, Marshawn Lynch, Russell Wilson, and the likes. But they've played the Dolphins, who are horrible. They've played the Patriots, who are horrible, and they played I don't even remember who they played week 1, but they were horrible, okay? They have the Detroit Lions this week, and this should prove a lot for both the Detroit Lions and the Seahawks. So I'm actually going to put them in week 18, whereas I know that that's a soft play right now, but it's early, guys, and I understand that in a few weeks' time, all of these 3 teams could shift around. So I'm going to just recognize the potential with all of these teams and try to play it a little more conservative in this ranking. The Falcons are bad. I'm sorry. I don't care what you say. I don't care that they beat the Eagles. I don't care that they competed with the Chiefs and were a penalty call away. I don't like this team. I don't think this team is good, and I don't think this team wins more than 6 games. I'm sorry. Now, I've been wrong before, and I was wrong about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because this was my pick last week to win the NFC South. And I still think it is my pick to win the NFC South. But that loss to Denver was absolutely abysmal. Not even close. They didn't have a chance. After the first quarter, the game was over, which is sad, which is sorry. But that division is pretty weak, top to bottom. So we're going to put them in Week 18 Warriors and see what happens. New Orleans Saints get a loss, a game that, again, they probably should have won, a minute and a half left, and they let the Eagles drive the entire length of the field when previously, in the first 3 quarters, they didn't let the Eagles offense do anything. So confusing there, difficult there to watch. So the Saints, again, I think it's between the Saints and the Buccaneers for this division. And after we finish with the NFC, I may shift some things around and do that so we can have this list a little bit more accurate. But for now, for the brainstorming purposes, we're going to put them here. Panthers did get a win. Andy Dalton did look phenomenal. Can I say that? Can I say that Andy Dalton looked phenomenal against the Raiders? Raiders go on the road and beat the Ravens and come home and face the Panthers, and they just get slept. Unbelievable. I still don't think this team's winning 6 games. We'll put them at wins the draft. Packers. Now, I did say I like the Packers this week against Tennessee, even though they were the underdog, so that feels good. But I was pretty outspoken about the Packers last week, saying I didn't think this team was great. Jordan Love is going to be back next week. He was warming up at the beginning of the game this week. They went with Malik Willis in the revenge game. Excuse me, that hurt my throat. And he looked serviceable. So this division's tough, very tough, very, very tough. But I do think the Packers have a shot to be a Week 18 warrior and to get into a wild card. Lions, I think, are comfy playoffs. I think they will secure a wild card at worst. This team is too talented on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball. I think they're in. The Bears lose again. Caleb Williams finally gets a touchdown pass, so he can, kind of get that milestone crossed off. But question marks just on this team. They're making, I don't know, they're making a lot of mistakes. It doesn't look good. Can they squeak out 6 wins? No, I don't even know if the Bears will win 6 games. So we're going to put them at wins the draft. Vikings. Probably, I don't want to say most impressive wins of the week because there were a lot of impressive wins. But in terms of getting the job done in a convincing way when the game was 50-50, that's what they accomplished this week, right? Like, nobody saw the Panthers overcoming the Raiders, most likely. Nobody saw Denver going in and beating Tampa. But we had a chance to say, Houston could win this game. Minnesota could win this game. We'll see what happens. People were not thinking Minnesota's win over the 49ers was legit last week. And I think this proved a lot. It wasn't just a nail-biting last-second field goal win against the Texans. It was a dominating win against the Texans. So we will put the Vikings, crazy enough, and Sam Darnold in comfy playoffs. I think this division is very good, and I think one of these 2 teams gets the wild card. Congrats to Washington for beating the Bengals, and I don't know if that's more about Washington or more about the Bengals. I don't know which to praise more or kind of hate on more. Jaden Daniels looked tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. I don't like Cliff Kingsbury. I don't love him as a guy, but he's calling the plays, and last night he called the correct plays. May be able to squeak out 6 wins. I'm going to put him at 6-11. Cowboys, I'm sorry. I hear me loud and clear. It's 9:35 on September 24th, 2004. I was wrong about the Dallas Cowboys. This team has too many question marks, okay? And I'm flustered, and I'm throwing my glasses, all right? I'll put them on. I'll put them on right now, and I'll just say it, okay? They're blue light, all right? I was wrong about the Dallas Cowgirls, okay? That's disrespect. I shouldn't say that. Okay, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. I should not have. That is implying that women are inferior, and that by saying they're the Cowgirls, they are lesser than the Cowboys. That was uncalled for, and that was unacceptable, and I apologize. I don't actually think that, and I rescind that statement. The Eagles did get a win, and again, I am not sold on this team still. It wasn't a convincing win. It just feels like if a team can come in and say, Barkley, you're not going to run all over us, then maybe this team is a matter of nothing. But this division now is falling apart at the hands of the Cowboys. So I think this team gets in easily. The Giants beat the Browns. What are we doing, guys? Okay, it still wins the draft. I still don't think they're going to win 6 games. But it was a good win this weekend. Okay, this is the NFC, all right? So this is the entire NFC. If I had to pick a Super Bowl representative right now, because I need to, because I can't go on with this, okay? I would go ahead and I would slide in. I'm going to slide in the Lions. All right. I know they lost to Tampa Bay. I get it. Okay. But I think they are the most balanced team. All right. So we'll put the Lions in the Super Bowl, comfy playoffs. We'll put this and this. All right. We need an NFC West contender. I'm going to go out. I'm going to say it. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say Seattle gets it done. And it hurts me to do that because I don't want to jinx my team. But we're going to slide Seattle up to comfy playoffs. And we're going to say they get in from the West. So we have North, East, West, wild card. And we need a South. Okay. And I still think Tampa Bay has more. They didn't show it this last weekend, but I still think they have more. So I'm going to slide Tampa Bay up. And we'll leave everything else in the position that it's in. We'll move on to the AFC. This video is long today. I apologize. Okay, Kansas City is probably Super Bowl conversation, but we'll put them in comfy playoffs for now. The Chargers lost. Justin Herbert is hurt. This team is led by Jim Harbaugh, who I think is an absolute fraud as a human and as a coach. I'm sorry. I said it. I typically like to keep the business away from the personal, but this man, I just don't think is as good as he thinks he is and says he is. We'll put him in, we'll put him in 6-11. I know they won some games at the start, but I think this team starts falling off. 6-11. Raiders, geez Louise, guys. What do we do? I mean, this is a classic team who beats who they shouldn't and loses to who they shouldn't. So we'll put the Raiders at 6-11 as well. I mean, that I don't know what you do after you take a loss like that at home to the Panthers. You have to really examine yourself, and their schedule is not going to get easier. Broncos, good for the Broncos. I think this division is just full of teams that are going to win about 6 games. All right. Bills. Oh, my goodness. A clinic. Does it say more about the Bills or more about the Jaguars? I don't know. I would hope it says more about the Bills. And because I've watched this team, as my friend said, be the best regular season team for 5 years in a row, never be able to get it done. I think they figure it out. Their offense is being called, offensive coordinator, new this year, is the guy who came from, I forget his name, forgive me, came from LSU, Coach Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase at LSU. He's doing some things. They don't have the weapons on paper. I've said this. They don't have the weapons on paper that you think they have, but they are putting the people in the spots to make the plays and to win the games. And Josh Allen is playing extremely well. I'm done talking about it. I'm sliding them up to Super Bowl conversation. I'm ready after last night. I'm ready. Patriots played the Jets on Thursday and looked abysmal. I think this is a wins the draft team, even though they did beat the Bengals week 1. The Jets, I thought, would really compete this year, but I'm just not sure that they have what it takes. I think they're going to beat the bad teams. They're going to play the medium teams 50-50, and they're going to lose to the good teams. We'll put the Jets in. The Dolphins are as good as done. Too many injuries. Tua, who knows when he's going to come back. It's just their defense isn't good. They can't stop the run. I don't think they're going to win. They may not win 6 games if Tua doesn't come back, so we'll put them in wins the draft. The Jaguars, crazy enough, a team that I have been high on for a few years. I think this team has talent. Wins the draft. Wins the draft. This was a list last week. I couldn't find a team for wins the draft but 2 or 3, and now I'm throwing everybody in wins the draft. You get a draft. You get a draft. You get a draft. The Titans. If I would have told you 3 years ago, hey guys, in 3 years, a team is going to have Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, and who else? They have another wide receiver who's like legit, okay? Tyler Boyd. You'd go, who's their quarterback? Wait. It doesn't matter who their quarterback is. This team's baller. This team sucks. What are we talking about? Wins the draft. Wins the draft for the Titans. I'm throwing away all these teams right now. None of these teams are going to win 6 games. Okay, a few might. Texans. Ooh, let me down. A team that I had in Super Bowl conversation last week, and I'm not saying that they're not going to be. I would love to see. Would you guys love to see a AFC championship game of the Bills and the Texans? Just imagine. Like, we might get 40 points on both sides of the ball. Oh, it would be a dream. I don't want to watch the Chiefs anymore. Give me the Bills and give me the Texans in the AFC championship. I'm ready for it. Colts, I'm sorry. Anthony Richardson does not look, he looks bad. I watched that game. That was one game that I locked in on and actually consumed the entirety of it. Anthony Richardson could not make like simple passes, like 7-yard out routes, like slants, dumping it off to the running back out of the backfield. He was missing on those throws. Can they squeak out 6 games? I think they can, but I don't know if Anthony Richardson is the answer. I don't know why they're not using Jonathan Taylor more. I digress. The Browns, you're right. You're right, Bob Battle, 7958. I was wrong about the Browns. I think their win at Jacksonville was more about Jacksonville being bad than it was about the Browns being good. The Browns got just destroyed by the Cowboys, and for all intents and purposes, they got destroyed by the Giants. I know the game script, the scoreboard was closer, but they got destroyed, really. So thank you, Bob. I apologize, Bob Battle. You are correct. The Steelers are winning games in the ugliest, most horrendous way possible. And the way this is shaping up, the Steelers have a chance to win the AFC North, which is not something that I wanted to admit at the beginning of the year. I thought they would come in dead last. Quarterback question marks, right? Fields, Russell Wilson, right? Do you want meh or meh-er, right? It just, But this is a team that could make the playoffs. Very decent shot. So we'll put them in Week 18 Warriors. Bengals look bad. Won 0 games. They're 0-3. I forget the stat. I heard it last night. Something about 0-3 teams making the playoffs. It's very rare. Joe Burrow didn't even look good last night, truly. He looked like just off. They were running the ball for 10 yards a carry, and they didn't run the ball. It was bizarre. 6-11 for the Bengals, which is just absolutely insane. And finally, the Ravens. I'm going to put them in Week 18 Warriors. Again, a really tough schedule to start the year, but I think, again, they're too talented. The cream will rise to the top. So let's look at this, okay? And I also had somebody say, I'm going to rank these in order now, okay? And I know this video is long. If you want to shut this video off now, get on your merry way, that's fine. I'm going to slide these around, okay? The Bills might be the best team in the NFL, okay? We're going to put them first, and we're going to throw the Lions second. If I'm ranking these from best to worst in this category, the Chiefs are a solid team. They're finding ways to win, even if it's by the refs at the end of the game. And so we're going to put them there. I think the Eagles are one of the weaker teams in this spot, as I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the weakest team in this spot. I think if these two teams played head-to-head, the Vikings would win. I think the Vikings would beat Seattle, so I'm going to leave the Vikings second. I'm going to slide Houston here. I think Houston would beat Seattle. I think Seattle could beat Philly, stop the run. I like this order, okay? So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That looks good. Ranking the Week 18 Warriors, I do think the Ravens are the best team here. At full strength, maybe we can make an argument for the San Francisco 49ers. So we'll put the San Francisco 49ers there. Crazy enough, I do think the Steelers are better than maybe the rest of these teams, and I hate saying that. Sounds really bizarre, but I'm going to do it. The Rams, Saints, and Packers, I think can all just be intermixed, but I think the Saints defense, and the threats they have on offense outlast these two teams. So we're going to leave that like that, okay? For this category, if we want to rank these three teams, I don't know. I think these three teams are the exact same teams. They have a lot of potential on paper, but are just not finding ways to get it done. I would rank them. I can't. I'm going to Jets first. Cardinals might beat the Cowboys. I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. Of the 6 and 11 teams, if we're ranking these in order, I want to say that the Bengals are one, but maybe they're not. Oh gosh, this is ugly. Oh, this makes my eyes cross. Let's go Bengals, Falcons, Washington. Raiders are probably towards the end. Colts would probably beat the Raiders. Denver's probably worse than the Colts. Leave that there. Washington's probably about here. Let's do that. Okay. I think the Falcons maybe outlast the Colts. Yeah, we'll put that like that. And then ranking the best to worst to the best of the worst of the worst to the best, we're going to go with I'm not doing it. I refuse. These teams are irrelevant to me. I'm not taking the time to rank these in order. There's your warning. Okay, so there's your list. Now, I feel pretty good about this one, guys. You can clown me again in the comments, but I feel pretty darn good about this list until this week when all these teams that I have at the top find a way to lose to these teams I have at the bottom. Whatever. All right. Thank you guys for coming by. Shave a mustache in your face today, gentlemen, if you can. And everybody else, if you don't have facial hair, we still love you on the Green Means Go channel. We'll see you tomorrow on our NFL Picks video.